Hello boys and girls, this is your boy Ferdinand and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you like my content and love what I do, then smack that like button and subscribe, and with that we'll get into today's video. So I thought I'd do a deep dive into my Sony X900H TV and my PS5 settings that I have for the TV itself. I know that I went over a few things in my previous Sony X900H video with the PS5, but I kind of looked at the comments and I saw a few people asking questions about the missing features on this TV to kind of know exactly what are the pros and cons of owning this TV, what my thoughts are on the missing VRR feature on this. So let's start with those things basically. So if you were in the comment section of my previous video, yet again let me start off by saying thank you so much for watching my video and for leaving a comment and also subscribing. If you're subscribed, if you haven't, please do so. So a few people asked about VRR and ALLM and basically what magic is there within those features, and considering that one of them, the VRR feature, isn't here. So I'm going to do a little bit of an explanation into those things and we'll go over a few details. So for all my sweet little friends who don't know what VRR is and what does it stand for and what does it do for a TV, basically VRR means variable refresh rate, which means that if your TV supports VRR, it will match the frames per second of the device it's attached to, like your console or your PC. And ALLM is the auto low latency mode, which as the name indicates is basically game mode enabled for the TV, basically making sure that your input lag for the TV is minimal. So if you're playing a fast-paced game like a first-person shooter or racing, the moment you click the button on your controller or your keyboard, the response on the TV is absolutely instant. So those are the things to basically focus on here. Now, the VRR feature was promised for Sony X900H TV. It is even on the box of the TV itself and was supposed to be added shortly after the TV's launch last year via like an internet update, which sadly hasn't arrived as of yet. Now, at some point Sony tried to say that VRR is not coming for this TV, but they retracted that statement pretty fast, simply because they saw an uproar online, which was caused rightfully so, since this TV was sold as the PS5 compatible TV or a next gen ready TV, right? But trust me guys, this is still an excellent TV. There are some rumors out there in the internet universe that those features will come down the road in December, but it remains to be seen. Interestingly though, if you are a PS5 owner specifically, somehow even if this TV does get VRR itself, you need to understand that the PS5 console itself doesn't support VRR as of right now. Now, there is some good news to that that I'm happy to report. PS5 itself does an excellent job in maintaining a stable frame rate. They're within reducing the need for VRR altogether. Like, you're not gonna notice that many frame drops or screen tearing and stuff. But if you are someone who is fixated on having VRR and it's a must-have for you, then I might suggest getting, first of all, an Xbox Series X, because out of the two next-gen systems by both Microsoft and Sony, the Xbox is the only one that does offer VRR, whereas the PS5 does not. So you might want to get a compatible TV that has a VRR in it, like a TCL 6 series and higher, or a Samsung QLED series, to name a few. I mean, if you don't want to go in the OLED direction, which I don't recommend. Like, if you're buying a TV and you're gonna game on it for maybe the next 4 or 5 years, at some point down the road you're gonna notice burn-in. So if that's something that you're kind of trying to stay away, I would highly recommend a QLED TV or one of the VA panels like this Sony X900H is. because they're still excellent TVs. Honestly, like, you're not gonna notice that much of a difference. The black levels on this TV are absolutely superb, and I am gonna show you how to set your HDR for this. So let me reduce the ISO a little bit on my camera right now, and we're gonna go back into the settings, and I'll show you where, if an update comes in, where VRR is going to be and where you can expect it to be. And then from there on, we'll go into game modes on my PS5, and a little bit of trickery I've kind of come up with a way to show you how the 120 frames per second mode works on the Sony X900H, and hopefully my DSLR will capture it, because I think it still only captures games at 30 frames per second, but I'll make sure through my video editor down the road that I'm able to fix that. So let's get into the settings of the TV, and we'll go through some of those details. So just like last time, guys, I'm gonna come back into channels and inputs, and then we're gonna go to external inputs for you guys to see basically where is it that you enable the 4K 120 game mode for the HDMI 3 port and HDMI 4 port on Sony X900H. Make sure that the signal format for HDMI is in enhanced. Now, for the VRR feature, I presume when the update does come for the TV down the road, it's probably gonna be updated right here. So if you are gaming on enhanced format at 4K 120, then it probably will say that VRR is supported right underneath this part here. And I think this is the only place in the settings of the TV that I've been able to look at and kind of say, okay, fine, this is where it is that you can come up with. Either that or external device setup, which depends on the device itself. For me, I've already done that for my consoles. So this is where I think that information will come up. So just to kind of point that out, I did decrease the ISO on my camera, because the last time I think I was within this menu, the screen was just too bright for the camera to capture. So this time I've reduced the ISO so that we can get a lot more detail in here. So for those of you in the last video who couldn't see what options do the HDMI have, as you can see, HDMI 1 and HDMI 2 both do not have an enhanced format which basically supports the 4K 120. It is only available on HDMI 3 and HDMI 4, so make sure that your new consoles, either the PS5 or Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S, are attached to HDMI 3 or 4, because these are the two ports that are basically capable of doing 4K 120 gaming. Now, coming back into the home screen of the TV, I want to show you a little bit how is it that I have the TV set up and what the picture settings look like when you're actually running some content on the TV itself. So we're gonna go into the Disney show What If. Me and my wife are watching this currently right now, and we actually love the show. And as you can see, the colors on the TV are absolutely bang on. Now, I have reduced the ISO a little bit so you guys can see a bit clearly what the picture settings look like for my setup. If you guys are interested, I am more than happy to go over the details again. But as you can see on the black bars above and below the picture itself, or the cinema mode, it is absolutely black. Like, it is so darn black that at times when you're sitting straight in front of the TV, you can actually mistake the TV for being OLED. Now listen, I'm not saying that this beats any OLED, but for your money, if you're gonna spend about like $700-800 US or about $1,000 Canadian, you cannot beat this picture. It is fantastic. Now, one of the cons for having this TV is that it does not, like, it does have like banding issues, and Quantum TV, shouts out to him, he did mention that, and I have absolutely no doubt that this TV does have that. Some frames you do notice banding on them, but apart from that, this TV is beautiful. The picture is crisp, it is smooth, all the features that you'd want to have in the picture are basically here. As you can see, the TV is running in Dolby Vision Bright right now. You could do it in dark if, let's say, you're watching the movie at night. I like having it in bright, so I'm gonna have it there. In the picture settings themselves, I'm going to show you a few more things. Let me reduce the ISO here again so you guys can see the settings on the TV, okay? So with the ISO reduced here a little bit, as you can see, the TV is running on Dolby Vision Bright right now, just the way I like it. Going into brightness, the brightness is max, contrast is max, gamma is a little bit higher than regular, but yet again, that's me personally. I like having a bright picture. That's what my settings are. That's what I prefer. Black level is at the optimum range at 50. Black adjust is medium. Now you could reduce it or increase it. It does affect a little bit, but I haven't noticed the differences that much. Advanced contrast, auto local dimming, and extended dynamic range. Two of those settings are on high and advanced contrast on low. Yet again, don't really matter for me personally that much. So I mean, it's up to you how you want to have that here. The rest of these settings I showed, I know some of you may have seen my color temperature at cool and be like, that's not the industry standard, and gotta be honest guys, that's just the preferred the preferred picture that I have for myself. Motion, like I said and I showed you guys, it's on custom. I have it on high. I love having that feeling that I'm watching movies and shows in that 60 frames per second aspect, and just high frame rate, and video signal and everything is great out here because the TV automatically selects HDR for Dolby Vision stuff. So we're gonna get into gaming here for you guys to see, but for those of you who kind of missed it, the TV itself absolutely fantastic at running shows and videos and everything in picture settings that I have specifically on it. Now like I said, because the TV is super bright, local dimming, I don't know how good it is. I have heard that the local dimming zones on this TV are less, so you are gonna notice some blooming on the text and stuff, but it's not distracting guys. Honestly, the TV is just so darn beautiful that you don't notice those details being out here. So right now I have the ISO reduced. We're gonna get into game settings right now, and we'll go from there, okay? Alrighty, let's see. So from here I'm gonna just punch on my PlayStation 5, show you my HDR settings for the TV, and we'll go from there. It's turning the PS5 on. Now from the home screen you're going to notice that the TV itself obviously automatically detects that you've turned on your console, so it'll take you into those settings right away itself, like goes to the right input on the HDMI. Alrighty. Okay, and last time I did mention that I didn't show the 120 Hertz frame mode, also the RGB range for the TV. So RGB range, I currently have it on full. You can have it on automatic. Some people wanted to know where it is that on the TV itself that you can see the RGB range, so I'll show you guys that right now. So the RGB range for the TV, you come into the picture settings right here and you go to the very bottom, and in video signal you'll see the HDMI range. You can change it to full, limited, or auto. So if I put it on full, which I had in this particular case, and then go over to my RGB range within the screen and video settings of the PS5 and I change it to full, now you can make sure that you're gonna get the full extent of the colors on the PlayStation 5, which are in line with the TV itself. 120 Hertz mode, make sure that your TV, if it does have that feature, you have an HDMI 2.1 available, then you have it on automatic. You can turn it off if you don't have it. I think the PlayStation 5 determines it automatically because there's no on option here. It's either off or automatic, so I leave it on automatic because that's what it is. And the rest of these I've shown you already. Now the only game that I have right now for the PS5 that I've heard you can play 120 frames per second modes on is Rocket League, and like I said, I came up with a clever way to kind of compare that up, so I'm going to show you gameplay for both of these. So basically what I did is that I put on the game on my PS4, which is going to run at 60 frames per second, we know that, and then we're going to have the game run at 120 frames per second on the PS5 because this is a recent update for Rocket League. It'll give us a good comparison between the two. So we'll see how that works out. Now, like I said, my camera I don't think can capture the difference for frames per second, but I think it still only captures at 30 frames per second. But what I'll try and do is that I will try and have the when I edit the video through my video editor, I'm probably gonna try and upload it at 60 FPS, which I normally do. You guys know that I upload videos now at 1440p at 60 FPS. So make sure when you are watching my video, you change the resolution and frame rate, and make sure you're watching it in the best possible quality here. So going into the settings right here, as you can see, for the PS5 you do get options for video quality. Performance is what gives you basically the 120 frames per second mode for playing the game in that particular way. Quality gives you 60 frames per second, but higher resolution, I think true 4K or native 4K. I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me on this, but I'll show you that on the PS4 we don't basically get this option. Let me just see this here. I already have the game running on my PlayStation 4, so I'll show it to you here. As you can see, there is no quality mode here for you to select from. So we're gonna run the game on the PS4 first a little bit, and I'll show you guys how it's running, and you can be the judge of it. Now please don't mind my horrible skills at this game. I am not at all good, and I think my son has changed the settings on my PlayStation a little bit as well, so you know, but nonetheless, as you can see, this is here the game running at 60 frames per second right now on the PlayStation 4, and you know, and we're gonna play the game at 120 frames per second on the PS5 and see how that goes. Okay, so let's just put this back. Settings, input, PlayStation 5. Alrighty, so we're gonna say play, free play. Let's see if we can see the difference for the 120 frames per second. I'm gonna show you, make sure you have the 120 hertz mode of it enabled on the TV. So going to the settings here, just to show you guys one more time, we have it on performance. Everything else I have kind of turned off just to, you know, make sure that it's capturing the information. And look at that, guys. Look at how smooth this game feels. It is absolutely fantastic here. Let me just see if I can reduce the ISO a little bit for you guys here. Okay, so I reduced the ISO a little bit more just so you guys can see the gameplay and just how smooth this game looks, guys. This is absolutely unbelievable. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to show the frame rate, the frame data for the TV itself, but you know, as you can see, the game runs absolutely like it's running like butter right now, right? It's no question, no doubt about it. So creates a world of difference if you're running the game at 120 frames per second mode, right? So make sure you have the right settings here for yourself to take advantage of that. And as you can see, while I'm playing this game, you're not going to notice any screen tears or any frame drops or anything like that, right? So I mean, that's very big for a lot of people, and that's what's the goal here in this particular case, right? So going over a few things here now. Let's say we go back to the home screen, settings, screen and video. So the 120 Hz mode is enabled, RGB range is full. We can change it to automatic as well. HDR on, that's what I prefer. And if you want to see exactly in-game what is being displayed on the TV, for the TV itself, you just gotta click on the display portion, and you'll see at the bottom you can clearly read 3840 by 2160p, which is 4K, 16:9 ratio, and HDR10 is running right now. Unfortunately, no frame data that I can show, but the difference can be clearly seen between the two gameplays that I've shown running on the same game, same everything on my PS5 and my PS4, and PS5 undoubtedly more smoother because of the fact that it's running on 120 frames per second mode. Now, one more thing that I wanted to show you guys was the HDR setting. So I have the ISO on my camera turned way down so you guys can see this correctly. If you do plan on gaming in HDR, then you gotta make sure that your HDR is adjusted correctly. So I'm going to show you how to do that for your TV. If you have a Sony X900H or any TV in general out there, just to make sure that your HDR is on point and ready if you do plan on, you know, playing games on HDR. So we're gonna go to the screen video settings, back in video output, and go to adjust HDR, and we're gonna go into the settings right here. So I have turned the ISO down a little bit, but I think, let me just try and see if I can maybe push it down a little bit further so you guys can see correctly how to do this, okay? Okay, so the ISO is down as far as it can be. So now with the PS5, you see this screen which basically asks to make sure that the image disappears or is almost minimum. Now the white screens here are there to determine basically how bright the screen will get in basically, you know, like brighter scenes when a game is playing. So they ask that you have the image almost disappear, which probably would be somewhere around here. For me, I mean, this is good. This is bright enough for me personally. So I'm gonna set it to okay on this. Now this is to basically see bright images on a dark background. Yet again, I would just say that follow this to the T wherever it is that it fits for your TV. Me personally, I had it set up correctly here. This is where the image appears, so you turn it down a little bit more, and this is where it should be, where you can barely see the image. Now for the dark scenes, I would say you don't need to see the image, right, at all. Like, this is the brightest right now. I don't even know if the TV can capture the image at all in this case, but if you can, right now it's turned up way high. Let me just see if I can adjust the ISO a little bit for you guys to see this one. Okay, I adjusted the ISO a little bit higher so you can see this setting for the TV. Now, you don't have to have it up at all. For me, I say when you go to the black, go to the very black. And there is a particular reason why that I say just go to absolute black. This screen basically determines the absolute black areas of your image that you're gonna see on the TV. So those images, you want to have them as close to OLED as possible, so you don't need to see the image at all. Like here, like, I mean, maybe the best setting according to the TV itself would be to have the symbol barely displayed, but me, I say turn it down fully. That determines you're getting the darkest of dark picture for the dark areas of the black areas of the TV, and that's what's going to give you that popping image at the very end. And this is how you basically adjust the HDR on your TV to make sure that everything is running as best as it could, as bright as it could on the TV, and you're getting all the details that you want. Okay, so just my settings for the TV, guys. Yet again, I want to show a little bit more deep dive in this. Oh, actually, before look at me playing the dumb game. Before I end the video, I want to show you the picture settings one more thing, just to make sure that you guys get a better idea about that as well. Okay, so going into the picture settings right here, as you can see, the TV for the PS5 is running on game mode. You go into the picture settings and you'll see basically my settings here. So HDR is on, top right hand corner, you can see HDR is running. Brightness for me, I have it on 30 right now by choice, just so that I can capture the images correctly on the DSLR. Contrast is at where it's recommended at 90. Gamma is turned up. Like I said, you can turn it down if you don't want a brighter picture. Me, I personally like a brighter picture. I like those highlights, I like those details, so I have it turned up a little bit. Black level at the recommended optimum. Black adjust is low. Yet again, you can turn off all of these things if you want. I do like having a little local dimming and extended dynamic range on gaming, so I have those turned up on high and black adjust itself on low. Going into the color, you're gonna find these are pretty similar to the ones that I had on cinema mode when I'm watching content. Color is where it's recommended at 55, hue at 0, color temperature neutral. You could have it on cool. I usually have it on cool for movie watching. On this, I have it on neutral. Either of those are okay. Live color is low. You can have it turned off completely as well, but for me, it's okay. Now the other features on this on the game mode would usually be disabled. Sharpness is turned up a little bit high, but reality creation stuff is all turned off, because you gotta get that lag down. For this TV, I think it's 14 millisecond or something, so it's pretty amazing. Obviously motion is turned off as well, and then video signal, as I've shown you already. The HDMI range, I have it selected on full right now, so you can have it in full. Make sure you get all the colors that the console is throwing at the TV, and all of those are captured here. So just kind of going over my settings for the game mode on Sony X900H and how I have the HDR setup on it as well. Maybe this will help some of you guys out there. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below, and I will holla at y'all later. Take care, guys. Bye.